Hello guys, welcome back to my channel again. I'm Lee here, and this is a video about the recap of the candidates 2024, which I think is happening now in Toronto, Canada. So it is getting extremely exciting, and so many fun things can happen. So I think it is a pity, and it should be something not correct if I don't do something here. So I mean I cannot really watch the games live because it happened at 1:40 a.m. my time, which was such a hard time to watch, right? But still, I still want to make some recaps here, especially game 13, 14, or tie breaks. Even maybe it happens, which is like I think the least thing I can do. First of all, I want to say that I'm sorry that I cannot make the recap of some earlier rounds. The reason was that I was busy with a national tournament, and also, basically that's the main thing. I did also trying to talk a few things about the event on my stream as well. So if you are interested to know more about what I talk about the candidates, you can follow my stream, which I put link down below. So here, as you can see on the screen, it is the standings after round 12. We got 3 leaders, a surprising leader, the teenager, and the super talent player, Mukesh Dumaraju. 7.5. And then he tied up with Ian and Hikaru, right? Hikaru has come back very strongly and win 3 games in a row, right? Fabi, half a point behind. So in round 13, we got some very interesting pairings. You can see here. So Ian meet Hikaru here. Rock with white against Fabi. Fabi needs to win on demand to be able to keep up with his chance. We did play Abaself, and Mukesh play with Alvarez Firuja. So let's talk about the games right away, right? Which most of them are very interesting, and that may lead to tomorrow's games will be super epic to really follow. So let's go to the detail right away. So first of all, one reason that actually I want to do this is because of the fact that somehow, so what they are playing here is looking actually very, I would say that, common to me. It is what actually I play as well with black. So I think it is the kind of thing that I want to make it for you guys and explain some of my, I think, like knowledges and variation. Also, I'm sorry for the duration bar, which you can see on the screen. So I will go to the US next month for 1.5 months, and that will be a long trip. So I'm trying to recruit and trying to create a fun on my channel. But obviously I don't create here, so basically just like you just can just ignore it. If you want to help me, or if you think this stream is good, you can try to help. But if you don't want to, so it's okay. So thank you for that, and just ignore it. So here we got the first game. I will try to talk about like the most important game to the list. We will start with the game between Nia and Karu, the 2 leaders after round 12, right? Yan was white. It is his last white game. Game 14, he will need to play Fabi with black pieces, which obviously is gonna be tough, right? So he is gonna need, I think he's gonna need maybe a win here, or at least try for something that may be working for him. Hikaru was black here after 3 wins in a row. He obviously was on a high, right? He will get Gukesh in the final game with the white pieces. So things are super interesting, and overall, it should be so damn cool to see how things can be in this game. So in 2022, they play together in the candidates, and that was the shortest game of the candidates in 2022. You can find it on Google easily when they went for a famous backline draw with Queen D4 Queen D6 Queen D6 repetition in like move 11 or something like that. But here, now this is changed, and obviously the situation now is different, so both players need to go for something different, right? Let's go to the game. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight F6, really best, should be 5 here, A6, should be 4. Okay, so on can be expected. since obviously, so the reload pass is like obviously a line that gets really familiar in this event in the game. So I expect Hikaru to play like here or no, he played this move in the game, c5, which I was lucky to watch it live a little bit. There was a bullet tournament that I played yesterday, which finished at like 1 a.m. my time, so I tried to stay up a bit later to watch the first, I think like 30 to 40 minutes of the game. So what makes me feel happy is that here's in the game, Castles Knight G7. This is what I play for black. You know, in even my classical tournaments and also in online events. I had this one against so many strong players here. I think maybe Hans, maybe Ali Reza, maybe even like I think even Hikaru himself and some others. Like here, so I don't know if that can be seen, but somehow here, like I have many games with slide, you know, many this line. In fact, if you find my name here, so if you find like on chat.com or in other platforms, you can see my name very easily. So I have this one against many players, you know. So here there are two main things I can play. The first one is take here right away and d4, which lead to like b5 here, which should be 3 takes, d4, d6, which is this the threat. So I think the main line here, if I was not mistaken, I think is f4, c5, and then I think it's like queen d1 and c4. Here, queen b6, this should be the main thing. But also, here in the game, so Ian chose the second approach, which obviously is even the main one. c3, 96, okay, d4, so e7. So things looks pretty odd. But this one actually is the best move here. The idea is to keep the bishop strong in this square, and also like it can still look at the center. Here, so I remember I was inspired to play this. I think after I saw the game, I think in 2021 or 2022, I forget. I think in Tata Steel. I think when a very strong Netherlands player, Jordan Van Forest, plays line, I think he win very quick. I surely forgot who we played in that time, but he won with black in, I think, a convincing style. I think in that game, so it happened like d5, now here d6, takes queen here, and then I think the way to play here, I think in the game was like castles, and then like b5 beat, and in the game, so black won, I think easily in like I think 25 moves or something like that. This line, in fact, is considered to be, I think the specialist in this line is the Israeli GM Tamien Nabari, I believe. And I think after this game, I believe this line can become more trendy as well, which for me may not be a good sign since I play myself a lot of time, you know. So now my opponent can be able to prepare against this. I guess so. So back to the game. In the game, so here people may ask, what happened if white take on c6, right? Here, so you take with the d pawn. So now the e5 doesn't work, which to queen d1 and g4. When due to the pin here, the pawn can be taken back, and black actually here can be happy about the outcome of the pawn right away. The thing that I have in one of my classical game is knight e5, I think so. So the line is like knight e5 here. I play in the game, I think in the game I play here queen e7, and then a queen h5. This is what I play in the game. And then here in the castles, when although black is now a pawn, but he can castles here, he can bishop pair, and he can try and go for attack in the king side later on. You can see how strong bishop pair is as well, right? So in the game, he went for the most, I think, familiar concept, g5. Here also, when I play with no other than Alireza, another candidates, he always plays bishop e3 against me, you know, and I think there was like castles and rook e1, this one for instance. When this is like I think a relatively rarer territory in the game, so Yan went for the main line, g5, f6, bishop e3, castles. Obviously, at first sight, so white managed to provoke f6, which, you know, weakened the king here as well, right? But the king can always run to h8 easily, and also this one also covered h5 as well, if and f5 as well too. So it is not as bad as it looks like at first. In the game, bd2, h8, b1, own main variation. Here, so what I play myself, I think is d6, this one. But I guess the Hikaru obviously should have looked at this one like deeply. But what I play here mainly is like d6. And h3 I take here, and I see e7. If you look at this one on like I think explore.com, you can find it a lot. I will show you like for instance right away. You see right? My name here, Tuan Minh Lee, and you see my name here, right? I have many games in this line. So that's just why basically I think I can be able to know what's going on here. In the game, so Hikaru shows a different approach, which obviously is also playable. He played ed4. The idea is that cd4 allows d5 right away, when black can set a tempo on the pawn push, isn't it? So in the game, d4, second was played by Ian, d4. Obviously, Hikaru wants to be on prep. d4, take the bishop. cd4 here also allow the same thing, I think with d5. I believe that black should be okay here. I guess that what is in Hikaru's prep is like ed5, knight e7, it's one. Go for the pawn, and the engine give this as like, I think, what is slightly better. It's not that clear. So, I think it should be good for Hikaru. In the game, so, yeah, take with the bishops. Takes, and d5. Still, same plan, right? Take here. So now we can see what happened in this case. So basically now, white having, an isolated pawn in the center, right? Somehow his pieces actually can be pretty good. He had the e5 here under control. The bishop here can control this diagonal, for instance. The knight can be rerouted to like maybe e4 to c3 or go for here. The pawn here in fact is not that weak, and black here somehow will somewhat struggle with his development. So I think white is slightly better. In the game, knight e4. My sense, queen d8. Hikaru decided to go for some, I think, safe. Here, so the only way, I don't know if it's like only way or not, but the engine indicates that best way to look for activities here is go for d5, to go d6. Get rid of the pawn in the d file and somehow get more space. I think the main idea here is that after f5 you got knight c5, and this one can become available, right? The knight can have a strong square on e6 here, and if he takes with the bishop, the pawn can become a strong passer, isn't it? So in the game here, so somehow Ian missed that option, which obviously is slightly sad for him. So in the game, queen d8. d2, a bit safe play by Ian. I guess he wanted to go for this idea to queen h5, but this might not be that efficient. f5 in the game, let's c5, b6. See, right? Obviously, if not the pawn is on d5, this idea can become very, very strong. But sadly, now it's not. Play here, for instance, you can take, and like maybe queen g5, f4 rook d8, and I think black is doing okay. In the game, 93, let's play. This one, I think it sets up a small trick. I don't know. I think the main trick here is that if like went for queen d4, I will play knight e5 to go for the queen h4 of the game. Because here, for instance, take here, takes, and although black is a pawn up, but he is somehow much slower in development, right? a7 can be played here as well too. The pawn can become a target. White control the two open fast in the center. Things looks good for him. So at this point, it's not that fun to play for black at all. So no wonder why in the game, Hikaru avoided that. b7, knight e5, queen g5. Activities. Somehow now black pieces looks pretty beautiful, right? So here I assume Hikaru can be happy about the income of this position. d5, 88. Bring out here to attack the pawn. I think here, so black should be completely fine, in my opinion. Knight 4 can become a threat. The pawn here is weak in the game, so that's why in the game Ian decided to play for equality, which in fact I think describes him in this event pretty well. In the game, so should be 3 defend the pawn first. C5, trying to activate the pieces somehow. So I think bishop d5 is also playable as well. But c5 I think is pretty good. I think a very smart move, to be honest. Somehow, so that makes the pawn here no longer weakness. Take here is impossible with the queen is hanging here, right? And then for some reason, now black can play here a c4 to block a bishop in the game. So Jan instantly could go queen away, finish 5, and he went for a draw. And in the game, Hikaru, after some thought, accepted. See right here, 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 and here. It is kind of clear Hikaru did think a little bit about if he want to continue or not, right? But how? I mean, the question is like how? Queen f4, maybe a try, I believe. Rook c1 maybe, and try to maybe like h6 or maybe a e5, I don't even know. But in general, so I think that in the game, so the thought of Hikaru is like, okay, he still had white against Lukash in the final game, so he can still decide his own fate. So he doesn't want to take plenty of risk here. For Ian, he needs to take more risk. But here, the main problem is that he is not better, he's not better. It's the main thing. Somehow the pawn here is pretty weak, and the rook here cannot come out as well too. Rook c1, for instance, I think may allow something like, let's say, knight h4 and f4, when black clearly have, I think, an annoying attack. So this one is not fun probably, but I guess this is how the game should continue if Jan want to play for the win. But the players shook hands, agreed to a draw, which make all the possibilities open tomorrow. Okay, next game. Now we move to the game of another leader, Lukash against Alireza. So I think Lukash has already had an astounding event, right? When he just, surprised everybody by his insanely good play, even though he is only still 17, right? Alireza is a bit off from this event, and he is not doing super well. But still, people all know he is very, very strong, and he's like, just one of the best in the world, right? Let's go to the game. e4, e5, we got another real pass. Knight f6. So here, Berlin variation. I guess it kind of explains that Alireza also want to go for safety as well. And he also want to go for a draw, I guess. d3, c5 here, the main line, the Berlin. Obviously, Lukash avoid the line to go for castles knight e4, which is known to be fairly easy to go for a draw now. Obviously, it's not, I think, earlier, so Nepomniachtchi played this castles knight e4 to be defeated. But still, in a must-win situation, which Lukash should be, he decided to opt for something with more chances. Here, castles knight d4, a rare variation. Here, the main line is obviously d6. This is the main thing, And here's so c3, and then like castles. Knight d4, actually is also playable, but it is the only second choice here at this point. Knight d4 in the game. Takes, took the bishop. Knight d2. c6. c4. The main line here, I'm sure, is bishop to a4 to trying to keep pressure on his pin. The main line is bishop a4. I think so. Like I think this is the white d6 and c3, bishop b6 here, and knight c4. Then I can go to this one, and then I think that bishop b3. When white can try to go for like maybe f4 right away as well. It should be, most likely equal as well. So in the game, Lukash deviate c4, d6, c3, bishop away, b6. As you can see now, this one is unavailable, right? But in the game, so he still went for the same card idea. Should be 3, so see, right? If you play castles, then c4 looks like it will come to that thing, right? in the game, so Alireza went for another option, a5. Expand on the queen side. In fact, this move is a very common one in, I think, high-level chess, and also in this type of variation, when this move, I think, is always kind of, efficient. You can try to play like a4 later on and expand on the queen side to go for some more space. c4, a7. Also, bishop can go here as well, right? a3. I think it is kind of clear at this point. Mukesh also get out of theory, not theory. Castles, Alireza 2. By the way they start thinking at move 12, we can know that as well. We have 3, d5. Like push in the center, and I think he got a great game. At first sight, it seems like sacrifice the pawn, right? But this is not really a pawn sacrifice, because here, Black gets a4, exclamation mark. Bishop is kicked away. Bishop a4, allow this one, and bishop is lost. If you play bishop c2 here, Black get a strong center, right? So in the game, queen d5, c2 first to avoid the kick away. g6. Although it looks like a weak move, we can the dust cross a little bit, right? But it prevented knight f5, and somehow Black actually at this point has fairly beautiful development. In the game, we won. e6. Black is completely fine at this point of the game. Take here, and h3. The question here that you may ask is like, why need to go for that option? I guess the main thing here is if you play, let's say, h3 right away first, right? Black has, I think, an alternative, which is d4. Take here is not a good thing, which we can upon d3, right? I guess the things like knight f1, but Black can play knight h5. When he may try to prepare f5 in the future, and somehow white will fight hard to do something special, especially the bishop here looks pretty passive, isn't it? So in the game, he takes. So the c pawn, fair enough. h3, prepare knight g4, I think so, probably, or trying to cover the square, which is always an important thing to do. Group e8, bishop e4. Here, so the engine believes that the best way to play is like bishop b8 to prepare e4, attack this diagonal. But here, so it's hard to really criticize group e8, which really seemed to be a normal way to play, right? But that's why actually it's not the best way to play for sure. When I think here Mukesh has a surprising idea on mind. Bishop a4, exclamation mark, in my opinion. Somehow this one really disrupt Black's development. Here, if you play rook f8, it just makes sense, like made no sense with his last move, right? Knight d7, with the pawn maybe. Should d7 also have the same problem, right? So suddenly this one here just managed to disrupt Black's idea right away. So e4 in the game was on the move. The only way to justify. Group e8. Takes. Queen e2. A safe choice. e7. And f1. Once again, a strong move. We normally don't want to retreat, right? But here with this move, you can try and go for bishop g5, bishop e3. Just make the way for your bishop to get into the game. Understandable, right? e7 in the game. Should be 3 first. Now bishop has done its work with this diagonal. Now he went to treat the bishop here on e6. Also, prevent I did go from here as well, right? Once again, a great move by Mukesh. e3, a4, takes, bishop e3. a3, as usual, Alireza go for activities. c4. So here I think, I don't know, here if I were Black, I would consider seriously to go for maybe like ab2 first to like weaken White's pawn structures. Could be 297 maybe, but I guess that White is okay with like here knight e3, you know, but it should be objectively equal. So in chess, one thing that, you know, always is hard is like you have so many choices to play, right? And then somehow you need to make several kind of plans in the game. So Alireza went for the plan. He played knight 5. We go for knight 4. In the game, G3, cover, F4. I think now AB2 is not a good move, considering that here's the knight cannot be maneuvered here anymore. And then once again, here actually, white can think about some attack in the main diagonal, isn't it? With the knight to queen combo. So in the game here we got c5, b3, and obviously white pawn structure is not safe. f5. Bishop take here, and what do you want? On natural. Here, so in the game, Firouzja went for the attack with the rook here of f8, sense, right? d5, go for the d5 control, queen e7, f4, exclamation mark again. Once again, a very strong move. The thing is that it used the pin here to, I mean, like, you know, f4 to prevent black from carrying out his thematic pawn attack, right? f4 in the game, knight f6, rook d2 back home, g5. A very, I think, like, political way, and also typical of Firouzja's play, very combative. The engine here claimed that the best way to go for some activity stuff for black is h5, h4, but it's not that easy, you know. Also in the game, so I think Ali Reza's choice is completely understandable. Sadly, it didn't work out well for him. In the game, g5 here, knight 3, text. Somehow, so the g5 is open, but it's not easy here to bring pieces to the g-file. Actually, black is doing fine for now, I think so. But, I mean, white, but still, black can be knight h5, but knight h5 drop the queen here, right? So in the game, queen f7 was play. Knight f5 is impossible due to queen g6. With a fork, right? Also, knight h5 looks also annoying as well too. I realized that queen here is wrong with queen g2. So I suppose that here, so knight h5 is the way to trying to exploit the mistake. The pawn will drop, and black can be able to bring his rook to the attack as well. So in the game, queen was play knight h5, queen f2, defend a pawn. Move to d6. Both players get out some scrambles. Rook here in the game, b5, attack the pawn, and g7. Somehow I think you can see right away, right? As well, right? White play seems easier, and obviously he can try to play on. So in the game, rook d1, e6. Decided to go for some activities here with queen h5, which looks tricky, right? g1 in the game, rook here back home, d1, e6, move 40, rich. Obviously here, so Ali Reza want to go for equality and go for a draw, and we'll cash. After some thought, declared queen h4, which we must thank him for that, you know, for his fighting spirits, and also was willing to fight. Take here. So now as you can see, right? Although black seemed to be not down material, he seemed to be okay, but white's plays feels much easier, isn't it? And obviously he can play on. In the game, okay, shit. King f2, the king run away from the g-file, and also it can be marching towards center later on. g8 in the game here, queen g5. I think here the only way to play is like knight here, when this one can lead to I think extreme complexities. I guess queen, here, so this one can be try. So queen e5. I think take here, maybe do f8, or take here knight f4. Should be equal at the end of the day as well. I think this is last chance to go for equality, which in the game, Alireza missed. Queen g6. He went for the queen trade on the g-file. I think his trick here is that the knight fight is impossible due to text and rook f8, right? When the knight is pinned and black actually is doing fine. But in the game, white simply takes. Now the main thing is that the main gotta play in the g-file now is gone, right? And white is the only one who control the d-file, and he is doing great for now. d6 in the game. So knight h5, knight d5 doesn't do much, doesn't it? And now somehow king a7 also the same, right? Suddenly black is so damn passive, and his play now became so hard. So to win the game, 3 pawn, knight a6 activities obviously. But Vukash got it own sorted out. Knight d5 defend on f4, knight d4, preparing to go for this sacrifice. Rook d6, obviously a strong move. Knight c2, go for e3, but sadly it doesn't work. Rook b7. The main thing here is that after e3, well, king e2. For king d3 and e2 doesn't work due to this move, and now Arabian mate alert, right? Which black suddenly can't defend. So here black has no time to push the pawn on the e4, and now it is basically over. In the game, rook e6 was played by Alireza, but this is basically lost. Rook e7, go for the rook trades. Very clinical by Vukash. Rook here, c5, push the pawn and prevent the pawn from the rook here to get h3. Knight d4, b4, g2 first, defend the pawn, right? Very nice play by him. Also get more time on the clock as well. Here, b4, time for it. h3, it may seem to be a bit scary at first, right? But Vukash get it own covered. g2, chase the rook away. Rook d3 is impossible due to knight f6 again, right? So rook must go back to h6. Rook d7, and now it's become clear that white's pawn are much stronger than black's. King g8, b5, king f8. The king suddenly is in time to come to help. b6, right? Simple as that. Rook here, king f2, here again, b7. So this is nice. In the game, rook h3, g2, rook h2, g3, and black resign. Rook b2, b7, and here as well, rook a2 also allows the same, right? When this one I think is made just like in a few moves. So nice level Vukash. He didn't have much after opening, but he decided to play on. His resilience and his fighting spirits give him the win, and now give him the clear and solid. Next game I talk about a little bit here is between Pruk and Fabi. When Fabi, who play black, is in a must-win situation to keep his chance alive. In the game here, we got the Sicilian, which Fabi has played many times in this event, right? I think he played with Alireza and with one more, but forget in the game. So this is the line that Fabi played already. It's not very surprising. I think he played against Abbasov as well, I believe. c4, knight d7, g5, go for this idea here to go for the bishop here. I guess that, okay, so here obviously Fabi should be in prep. c4 in the game here, so take here is fine, I guess so. But I think the idea here is like taking away this pawn and c4, which may be important. Take here, knight f8. The idea is trying to relocate his pieces, re-maneuver as well too. g4, h5, get the queen away, queen f5. So here, at this point, I think white can be somewhat better, but I think it is going to clear Fabi one Tigris. So I think he's willing to go with that. Castles, queen e7, queen h3. I think the engine, I think here Pruk should go for f4. I don't know, I think what he thought is like f4, got f6, right? So knight f3, here, and e4. But I think white can play bishop b2 and or with e5 right away, you know. With, I think, great activities. For instance, this one with f4, right? And you can see here that it looks incredibly annoying to deal with for black players. So in the game, Pruk decided to play safer, finish 3, return home. But now, black is the one who trying to play actively, see, right? And suddenly, all things looks for him. 92 in the game, 96. Suddenly here it looks so comfortable, right? Comfortable. So it looks nice for him. e1, g4, obviously, queen e3, castles. The king is now safe. The rook can be brought here, and black is the only one who can fight, right? Obviously, he must be happy about the outcome of the opening right now. e2, d8, f1, h4. The pawn march begins. Knight e3, knight d4 for the queen, queen d1, and h3. Once again, a very understandable move. The idea is weakening the square f3, right? So in the game, g3, basically only move. If it doesn't do that, here for instance, right, g2 and cd4 is just dead on the spot, right? So somehow Ondo didn't want to play g3, but he must close the center and the key side as well. G2 in the game, f3, and black won on exchange. Obviously here, so it just won't come to the technical conversion, which in fact looks not easy, right? This portion looks a bit close and it's not easy here to make progress. But in the game, Fabi made that work well. Bishop f8, go for this one ideas first. Bishop a3 to the pawn on c5, king b8, get king to safety, queen a2, king e8, right? Black has all the time in the world. King g1, here trying to go for some maneuvering. Queen d1, white can just wait, right? Up here, defend a pawn in advance, so that the queen can go away. King f1, queen d8, you see, right? Queen go away right now. Queen d1, defend that. Rook g5. Rook b3, white just keep waiting. H5. Fabi looks like doing the same, you know. I guess I want to play here. It's not easy to make that work. b1, bishop here in the game. Bishop b2, c7. So the bishop go to a5. Now it's still not clear yet. How can black win here and how can black penetrate, right? c3, b7, d1. Here you see, right? So now players start to play some back and forth move. f3. Suddenly, Proc is the one who, some kind of way to open first. I suppose that if nothing here, let's say play like queen here again. I don't know how probably can win. I don't know. Here, for instance, so bishop here allow like f5. I don't know if actually you can text. I guess so. I suppose that here, so the idea is like this is going to play here, and if you play this one, maybe takes and he has a pawn up. I think that's his plan for now. So in the game, f3 was played by Proc, trying to open up the f-file and trying to get rid of the bind in the king side. Take queen f3, rook 7, defend the rook obviously, knight f5. White seems to be still very okay, right? Queen e8, it's not easy around here to make some kind of invasion. Should e2 in the game. Queen h5, threats, e2. Seems like black is black's getting nowhere. In the game, Fabi showed the strength of one of the best players in the world. 3-7 here in the game. Should d8. Some kind of maneuver right now. a5, defend the pawn. I'm sit here, right? And his plan now is to go for b5, isn't it? A very clear plan. King a7, see here, right? And rook here and rook b8. Really clear plan. While Proc hasn't have any plan at all, Fabi has a clear plan to open up the queen side and try and get some activities here. Obviously, it must feel so damn annoying, right? If one push, obviously, takes, take here, b4. Now, finally, the file is open and the pawn here is passed as well too. Things now looks much more clearer, isn't it? Knight e3 in the game. Should d8, defend for f6. Should e3. Still, at first glance, so it seems like he can still hold his own. But now I think Fabi may want to go bishop e7 or c3, trying to kick on the white pieces away. Once the rook here can be tried first to defend the pawn in advance. c4. Let's put that as well, right? Let's put it as well. a1. Bishop here, makes sense as well too. c1. Bishop d4. a4. c3. Finally, the bishop got into white's camp, and black now can try and go for here as well too. b4 first. a2. Checks. F3. And the rook finally came and realized, isn't it? Should b2, defend things here. Rook b5. c3. b7. Still all things covered. a1. b7. The pawn now became a new weakness, right? And king e2 now lost the game into bishop g3. When the pawn suddenly become a passer, right? With small tactics in the game, so first play. Rook now is so down time. b7 again. Knight e3. Take care of the pawn. Take care. b3. a4. c1. Black start invading. e5 here in the game, so takes a1, and we got a thematic tactics, right? Which probably clearly work it out. This is here e3, e5, c5 here defend a pawn, c1, king here defend bishop as well too, and now opposites over. g5, g7, cover everything, and the rook come to defend as well. Also, like just reminds opponent about his own strength, you know. So white has no time to defend both. e3 in the game, group 8 here in the game, a3. Obviously, the tactics favors black. e8 here, king b7, chase away the rook first, a5. So tooks and here as well. It forks the rook trade, right? When after that, things are now simple. GG. Queen here, king here allow queen g8, and bishop here. When the pawn here drop next and the pawn can promote, right? And a nice win and a super crucial win for Fabi. The last game is between Vidit and Abasov. Obviously, they two have no real, go to play for, right? But they still here to play. So in the game, like they went for the Petrov, which somehow, so this time Vidit didn't go for anymore. He went for something safer, and basically they made some trades pretty early. I guess that they are not so interested in trying something like combat very like huge or something like that. So in the game, so somehow I think actually Abasov was always fine here in my opinion. And he brings rook to f8, e3. It's just here to cover, some square in the queen side like b5 for instance, d2. And it is at this point the player struggles to find a way to make a plan. See, right? Here in the game, so Abasov go for a knight maneuver, and he is so damn up on time, right? You can see how much he's up on time. a5, bishop here in the game, b1, queen d8, b1, knight 7, and knight can go here as well too, isn't it? In the game, we did prevent that with d3, queen here and king here, and the players struggle to find a way to continue the game, and the draw was agreed. So now it's just getting very fun, right? After game 13. Now, so as you can see here, so now for the result, let's see here actually. So tomorrow we'll get some super interesting pairings. Hikaru against Gukesh, Fabi against Yan. On super cool, right? So now as you can see here, for instance, so now there are, Gukesh is the sole leader for now, right? So see here, let me take a look for you right away. Actually, this is be lucky here now. Okay, I think here it is. See, right? Gukesh is sole leader right now. Yan, Hikaru, and Fabi all have chances. So tomorrow, Hikaru with white against Gukesh, Yan with black against Fabi. What happened? Gukesh basically need a draw to at least qualify for the tiebreaks. But who knows, right? Hikaru is in a must-win situation. Fabi and Yan, one of them need to win as well. What happened? Good luck for everybody, for both players, and I think it is an honor for us to watch this fun and super exciting tournament. We'll see you later, I hope so, with the recap of round 14. And once again, wish the best for everybody. See you guys later. Peace and stay safe.